All right. Welcome back. All right, this time around, I have something very, very special for you, and that is a class of Blueprint. And, Blueprint may be a little bit intimidating at first. I remember when I started learning Blueprint, it was really hard for me to wrap my mind around it. And I think now, looking back at that time, that it was because I really didn't had a really good need to learn it and to use them. So it's really when you start working in production and start, trying to get out of the engine the best of it when you are going to have a true need of using a blueprint. So in that sense, there is this blueprint that I often use, and it really is very useful. It is like a Swift Army knife, type of blueprint. So I want to share it with you today. And so what it does, it will allow you to change some attributes of whatever assets or whatever number of assets that you have on your scene. So when you're working, for example, with these slides, allow me to show you how this looks without, the directional. So this is going to be only be lit with a simple point light that it's, above these lanterns right here, right? So I can, put them out so you see, this is how it looks only with the emissive from the material. And this is with those lights. But as you see, those are a lot of lights. There are not a huge amount of lights, but there are enough so it can become, a little bit hard to not only to manage them, but also maybe to animate them. And that is, where uh, this tutorial is pointed to. Because, if you want to edit them, you can, select them all and come here and change these values, and that should do it. I mean, that is as far as Unreal will take you. But if then you try, for example, to animate them, then is when it becomes a real chore and a task. Because if you take all of these guys and put them inside here, then you're going to get one track for each. All right. And manage that animation can be a little bit troublesome. So that's when using Blueprint would become very handy. So let me show you what this blueprint, specific blueprint does and how we can manage to work with it. So to create, very fast new blueprint, you right click on an empty space on your content browser and you select blueprint class. Don't worry about all these different type of blueprints. We're going to select the easiest and emptiest of them all, and that is the class actor, the actor class. And that's it. Now we have a new blueprint created right here in as an asset in our content browser. And we're going to call it light control. And that's it. So we have our light control right here. We're going to save it. And as you see, it is an asset that you can drag and drop like an actor inside your level. And that means that is reusable. And that's a way that we're going to try to build it so you can reuse it on any level or project that you have at your disposal. So to start editing it, all you need to do is to double click it. Once it's open, this is the blueprint editor, and it by default comes with these three Windows tabs. So it has a viewport, it has a construction script, and it has an event graph. So the viewport is self-explanatory. It's so much like, the viewport that you have right here. But in this case, it is like a self-contained scene when you can, create cubes and plane and spheres, lights, everything inside it, and you can, position in it, in its own type of level. But the one that we are going to talk today is this thing right here, and this is called the construction script. And the construction script is very magical in the sense that it's going to be a blueprint that is going to run continuously in terms of that you don't need to play, all right, play in editor for it to function. It will work in editor also, all right. So the event graph part of the blueprint will only work if you hit play or simulate, but the construction script is going to be there always, all right? So every time you change a value, that is going to, to kickstart the construction script event, and that is going to start, reading out the execution in thread to whatever you put to the right of it, all right? So um, I guess the real magic here, apart from the construction script, is to find out a way to connect things. Like this blueprint is going to be an actor inside this level. So now we need to inform this guy right here that he has things around that you want to connect with and start changing attributes of them. So I found out that the easiest way to do that is to use one thing that is called a tag. An attack is something that is inside every actor. So if you select any actor and you search in its component for tag, you're going to have component tags. We're not going to mess with them right now. We need what is called an actor tag. So an actor tag is something that you can call the same name to a bunch of things. So in this case, we can create like a tag that is called, for example, light. It could be anything, all right? It's a name that is going to be a common name. And I mean common because you can then select, for example, all your lights, all right? And you can add that same tag, light. So in that case, you can find all of these actors at once, all right? Because they all share this same tag, right? So now how can we, tell this guy right here that is our light control that he needs to look for all those guys that are called light? Well, that's very easy. You drag out your execution in thread and you search for get actors by tag. And that's it. Not the actor of class, but the all actors with tag. That should be enough, right? So now you can search for all actors in this level that has that tag. So I already set the tag on the actors, and I could come here right now. If I don't want this blueprint to be reusable, I could write right here, light, and that should do it, right? But as I want this to be reusable, because I might maybe use it for red lights and for blue lights, and I want to differentiate between them, then you can drop more than one of these blueprint actors into a scene, and you can control the red lights with one and the blue lights with the other one. So in this case, we are going to create what is called a um, variable, all right? And to create a variable out of this value, you drag off from the socket and you drop it. And if you have content sensitive here, you can promote this socket to a variable. And there it is. Now it's created. It has, the same name as the socket. Tag is going to be enough. And then we need one more thing, and that is to expose this to, I'm going to remove this filter from here, all right? And that is to expose it right here on the details. And to do that, you need to check out this thing that is called instance editable. And that is the same as looking for your variable right here and clicking on this little eye. That is what is called instance editable. And that means that now if I compile and save, there's going to be this default new tab with this variable value that we can change right here, right? And this will make it reusable, meaning that now, this actor blueprint in particular can handle all actors that are called lights, all right? But then we can change it if you're in another scene, or you can use it to your will. All right. So now let's check if this thing is working. So the first thing and the most important thing about this node is the length, and that is how many actors of this tag did it found. So to get that length, and let's maximize this so we have more space here to work with. And so the length of this, so this socket right here is what is called an array. All right. And that is because it is assuming that you're going to find more than one actor with this tag. So it's going to be like a variable with more than one value. So one value for each actor that it finds. So we need to know how many of those it is found. So what we're going to type here is length, and that's it. Now, what comes out of here is how many actors with this tag did this node found. All right. So now we can loop and start extracting one by one each of those actors. And to do that, we are going to use what is called a loop. And this may be a little bit controversial, but let's this is made for small scene. If you have like a huge scene with millions of actors inside it, this might not be the way to go. But for now, so you can learn a little bit of blueprint, this should be completely fine. All right. So from here, we're going to drag and we're going to write or search for for, like this, and we have a for loop. And now we're going to connect this execution thread here. So what this for loop is going to do is, for how many numbers of actors that are found with this tag, this thing is going to run. But that means that it should not be connected to the first index. The first index should be 0, meaning that it's going to start looking for from 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. And that is because arrays in Unreal start at the number 0, not 1. That's very important to know. And it's going to run until the length of how many actors of that of with that tag is found. All right. So now we need to, so in the loop body, he needs to do something. He needs to extract one actor each time. So that is being done by dragging out from this array and doing a get. So this function is called get a copy. So what it does is going to get um, one actor at a time, and it's going to speed it out, from this socket. All right. But as you see, it says 0 here. So it means that if you don't change this always going to speed out the first one, on this array. But that's why we have this loop here. So if we connect this index here, it means that every time these things loop back, meaning that it comes from 0, 1, 2, 3, then it's going to get the 0, 1, 2, 3 actor found in this node. All right. So now we are almost ready. That means that we have this actor available, for us to start querying out and setting different attributes about it. Now, there is one more thing to know about this, and this is that what is pumping out from here is an actor. An actor is a very dumb thing, meaning that an actor has like a location rotation scale, and it has a rendering, and it has maybe if it's going to draw a shadow or not, and that kind of things. What really interests us is this thing right here. So if I select any light, you're going to see that any light actor has what is called a light component, and that light component is what has the radius and the intensity and the color. So that means that we must get this actor and get component by class. This one right here, the first one. So we know that because it is a light, we must search for a specific component, and that component is right here, and it's called a light component. All right. So we can come here and search for light component, and it's this one. This is the generic one. You can, select depending on the type of light that you use. If you want the generic one, is this one right here, light component. That's it. Now we are available of searching things like intensity, all right, or color, or all of the attributes from a light. And now we can connect this loop body right here, and that should do it. Now, if we want to control this intensity from the details right here, when we select our light control, that means that we need to also do this same treatment of this socket right here. Create a variable and made it instance editable. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're coming here, we're getting this out, and we're going to promote this to a variable, and it's called new intensity. That is wonderful, and we're going to turn on the little eye, and that's it. Now let's check it and see if this is working. So we're going to compile, we're going to save, and let's test this in real life. So we know that we have this blueprint actor, right here in our level. It's going to try to look for things that has this light tag in it, and we should be able to change the intensity here. And we know that all of these lights has that tag already created. So what gives why anything is changing the intensity? Well, Unreal is very strict on things that can change on the fly. And things that are set to static are exactly that, static. So that means that we must select all our lights, all right, that we want to be able to change on the fly, and we must set them to movable. And just by that, we should be able to grab our light control, and now we are able to change the light of all of our lights, point lights at the same time in that thing. All right. So um, as you see, it's very easy. There's just a couple. The secret here is all these nodes right here. All right, is the get actor with all tags, and the loop, the length. Once you can uh, search for all these actors inside your level, then whatever you do from here on is whatever you want. You can change the intensity, the color, whatever you can do, uh, apart from intensity, it's on your own. And now let me show you one more thing. So let's compile, save this, close it, and let's go back to the level sequencer, right? Now this means that I should be able to grab this light control, drop it inside, right? And I should be able to track this new intensity, right? But so what gives is not here. So let's go back to our to edit our blueprint, and in our new intensity, if we search here on the right, we're going to see that apart from the instance editable that allows to change it right here, we are going to need to expose it to cinematics. Once it is exported to cinematics, we can compile, save, close, and voila, now it's right here. Okay. And once it's here, we can, set a key. We can go forward in the future and hit 0. That is going to create a key. And now we should be able to see it. Well, it's still not working. All right. There is one last thing that we need to change in this blueprint. And that is, if we go to the class defaults, there is I'm sorry, to the class settings, there is this run construction script in sequencer. This is off by default. That means that we need to come here, turn it on, compile, save it, and that should do it. Now, if we come and scrub here, you can animate only one control, and that is going to take care of all the lights in your level at once. You know, um, this has, its repercussion. It means that you can do a lot of things, once you can set a tag and ask for any actor with that tag inside a blueprint. You can animate, you can do world building, you can do, you can manage your scene with only one control. That kind of thing is very, very powerful. And now you know it, and you're going to be even, greater and faster in Unreal Engine, right? So I hope you learn a little bit today with this blueprint, and you are more comfortable working with blueprints. So if you like the video, leave a comment and, subscribe, and be good. Love you all, and see you soon. Bye bye.